नमस्ते। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः। गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जंगमं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओ I bow to unreal and real godly existence. गुरु परम गुरु परम परम गुरु परमेष्ठि गुरु परात्पर गुरु गुरवे सर्वलोकानां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां। अस्य श्री शुद्ध शक्तिमाला महामन्त्रस्य उपस्थ इन्द्रियादिवरुण आदित्य ऋषिः दैवी गायत्री छन्दः सात्विक गक्कार भट्टारिक पीठस्थित श्रीमत्कामेश्वराङ्कनिलया श्रीमत्कामेश्वरी देवता ऐं बीजं क्लीं शक्तिः सौः कीलकं श्रीदेवी प्रीत्यर्थे खड्गसिद्ध्यर्थे जपे विनियोगः। श्रीमाता श्रीमहाराज्ञी श्रीमत्सिंहासनेश्वरी चिदग्निकुंड संभूत दैव कार्य समुद्यता उद्यद्भानु सहस्रभा चतुर्बाहु समन्विता रागस्वरूप पाषाढ़ क्रोधाकरांकुशोज्ज्वला मनोरूपेक्षु कोदंड पंचतन्मात्र सायका निजारुण प्रभापूर मज्जद ब्रह्मांडल मंडला चंपकाशोग पुन्नाग सौगंधिक लसत्कचा कुरुविंद मणिश्रेणी कनत्कोटीरमंडिता अष्टमी चंद्र दलिक स्थल शोभिता मुखचंद्र कलंकां मृगनाभिविशेषका वदन स्मर मांगल्य ग्रहतोरण चिल्लिका। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम असतो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमया। ओम शांति शांति शांति। I bow down to Guru, Parama Guru, Paratpara Guru, Parama Guru, Parameshthi Guru. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. In my previous video, I was talking about various aspects about 108 Karnas or 108 Karnas and Natya Shastra's reference to so-called seasons and various other things, and talking about the astrological and environmental changes and astronomical significance, and apart from that the very aspects of presence of 27 nakshatras as per astrology. 27 nakshatras as per you know as per yoga. Now let's take the subject much further, considering the fact that you know these are the key factors. And definitely, yes, these are the key factors or the primary aspects that one needs to really understand. Let's try exploring one or eight karnas, which are key factors for astronomy from astrological and environmental aspect. This is a very important point which one needs to understand. The fact is, this astrology or mantra or tantra or yantra aspect, most of it is dependent on the way a very factor of environmental, that is the a very important point which one needs to understand by and large. If Natya Shastra or 108 Karanas were created or were inculcated for this human existence to understand from the very perspective of getting connected to that terrestrial existence, interterrestrial existence, intraterrestrial existence, inter-interterrestrial existence, intra-intraterrestrial existence, and abysmal terrestrial existence. That's the ultimate terrestrial existence where from where the energy source comes deep. This so-called human body or humanoid or human existence which is there, right? It represents Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti and Purusha are none other than one who are actually like taking care of the words. In other words, universe, multiverse, and omniverse. And most important of all, how do you exactly what is that one point of mediation or one point of facilitators, you can say facilitating factors that facilitate this humanoid or human existence to get connected. Natya Shastra and 108 Karnas, if we really see, are much more easiest way to actually get to understand that oneself, ladies and gentlemen. That's the beauty of Natya Shastra and 108 Karnas. I want to have a healthy argument on this. Nevertheless, Natya Shastra or 108 Karnas are the text, or it is a specialized subject for dance form or classical dance form or whatever it is. I'm okay for an open argument on this, healthy argument. It's not that I want to I want to defy the very conceptual and contextual understanding of mudras or whatever it is. One may argue that whatever mudras or whatever that are performed are only pertaining to specifically to dance form. No, they are directly or indirectly connected to the meditative aspects. The only difference over here is, here in meditative practices or so-called yoga dharana or yoga dhyana or yoga maya or yoga mahamaya or yoga nidra aspect, these are actually like various names given to this form in simple terms. And if we engulf and encapsulate whole of these factors which I am talking about, it is all about Natya Shastra. That is what I want to tell. And the second aspect to this, let's talk about Charis, Pada Vedas, Anga Vedas, Hasta Vedas, Drushya Vedas, whatever you take. All the sensory, Pancha Gyanendriyas, the Pancha Gyanendriyas comes into being wherein they are used in Natya Shastra or 108 Karanas to exhibit that interconnection between humanoid or human existence with that terrestrial existence, beings. There is something called of the yugas which we do not talk about. That is what is Daiva Yuga or Daiva Loka, which is ever existing. Though it's not practically possible for scientists or science or humanoid or human existence to go to that level. It happens only when this body leaves. That is the irony part of it. Whatever that we experience, he or she experiences during Natya Shastra, during the dance performance or 108 Karanas or meditative practices, various forms of meditative practices. It is just that you get that, you experience that. You become that experiencer or experiencee. So, Natya Shastra from the philosophical front and from the philosophical and a yoga abhyasa perspective, it has a wider meaning. In fact, Natya Shastra or 108 Karanas were introduced for this only to understand. Today they have made it like, for the entertainment purpose or whatever it is they are taking it, but logically, if you really see, this is what is the whole of the gist and whole of the purpose for Natya Shastra and 108 Karanas conceptual and contextual understanding about. That is the part. Now, the very point of the mutation of human genetics is very much dependent on this Daiva Yuga, and that is the reason why this body is composition of all the planets in the human body. Now, from the viewpoint of Prakriti and Purusha, if we really see, let's say, like I am speaking, so-called Ramachandra is speaking now. How is he speaking? If you really see, there is something called Atman and Jivatman and Paramatman. So, Natya Shastra and 108 Karanas actually get us connected to that Paramatman. And it actually like removes that Jivatman and converts it to Anatman first place. When I say Anatman, this body will not exist at all during the performance. That Anatman which is there gets to that Atman aspect. This Atman, so-called soul, is independent soul. It is neither created nor destroyed. This Atman, which is there in the body, gets connected to that Paramatman level. Which Paramatman I am talking about? That Daiva Yugas, gods or goddess. Devi Devatas. So-called 27 Yoga Nakshatras as per yoga and 27 Nakshatras as per astrology. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. It has a philosophical background, and this is again ruled by Sapta Rishis. Who are these Sapta Rishis? These Sapta Rishis are represented by Saptaswaras. Which one does not know? I don't know whether people have understood this or not. If we really look at Saptaswaras. So it's a very a wide and large concept, these Saptaswaras again. Whatever that I have spoken about was like, a brief introduction. But if you logically see, they represent Sapta Rishis. Now, and these get us connected to that point. Now, for a normal human being like us, or me itself, it would be really insane and foolish to actually like compare myself to the Ramana Maharshi or Kanchi Paramacharya or Shirdi Sai Baba or to name a few exceptions there, because they have crossed all the boundaries. They have crossed the boundaries beyond the words, beyond the alphabets. To give you an anecdote, okay, let me give you an anecdote on this. When Ramana Maharshi was attacked with cancer, that cancerous wound, he said very simply that all this is my karma. Why are you disturbing that? Don't disturb that. Can you or anyone of this humanoid say that We will immediately go to a doctor. We will do the treatment. But he didn't take the treatment. Likewise, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He was attacked with cancer. He had accepted it. So that is the reason why I say try not to follow the realized source. Try to understand what is the message that they give and implement that in your life so that you could get to that level. Now one may ask, how is this related to Natya Shastra or Varnata dance? During the process of performance or whatever it is, at some or the other point, this humanoid or human existence will have that realization point. And today, if I am speaking on Natya Shastra or 108 Karanas, this is one reason. I felt that though I am not a dancer, I am not a performer, I am not a classical musician. But what I know is Makara Bija from Lalita Sahasranama, wherein I started meditating upon. And I have been meditating and I am still practicing that meditation, and I am doing that Yoga Nidra, Yoga Dharana, Yoga Dhyana, Yoga Maya and Yoga Mahamaya aspect also to this day, till date. So, bottom line is, Natya Shastra and 108 Karanas are much more easier for one to understand this. Though one cannot get to the level of Ramana Maharshi or Kanchi Paramacharya or Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, ladies and gentlemen. Let me be very clear on this. Try not to imitate or try not to, practically use that, because we do not have that much energy levels what they have. So Natya Shastra or 108 Karanas gives you that energy, step by step process. As I said, so alternate source for understanding whole of this concept is all about like classical dance form or classical music, or genuine and dedicated individuals who perform yajnas and homas and other rituals. Coming to the point of charis, Vedas, with a fixed posture, get the dancer as well as audience to get connected to that Daiva Yoga. They are the means. Understand this. And get connected to that, though the Daiva Yoga, Devatas or godly element guide the individuals. The moment you start performing, that's when you get connected to that terrestrial existence. So there is direct or indirect connection involved in it. When we talk about how do we realize or feel these individual existence, terrestrial existence, one needs to really be focused on the steps. Focused in the sense, it is not that you are just doing it for the entertainment purpose. But understand that and see that they are understand what you call that one understands and performs the recital, then they will feel the same. Once they start feeling that, you know, you would not be able to talk about. By the by, if I am explaining whole of this, what you call background, it is only Mother's grace. Lalita Tripur Sundari, she is telling me and I am telling. That's it. I am the facilitator over here. I am nowhere like, I'm a benefactor or, that would be an ego for me to say that I am speaking, ladies and gentlemen. So, in a way, it takes the human existence to the level of Yoga Drashta, Yoga Drushya, Yoga Maya, and Yoga Mahamaya. All these levels. Thus, reaching to that point, there are very few of them who could reach. In fact, I have spoke to. Not everyone can reach to this level. Though the fact is that these 108 karnas or Natya Shastra is all about getting to understand the very sources for getting to that individual's terrestrial existence. And it does not stop here only. It takes to the human existence genetics, realignment, and restructuring by and large to the core. Here is where the Daiva Yuga's interference comes into being. When one is performing or when one is hearing to those musical notes, as I said, they are directly related to the Sapta Rishis. These Sapta Rishis, in return, what they do is they give those blessings to the person, individual who is performing or who is reciting. And these come to the one who are hearing or seeing, so-called audience. Though, if we closely observe, this words has certain nakshatras. They are born, they evolve now and then for every nanoseconds. And this words, so-called uni, multi, and omni, is ever existing, ever pervasive. And it expands. Now, if you are thinking that you have 24 hours over here, there 24, it's not the time calculation. You would not be able to calculate the time. You cannot even come up with an equation. So that is the reason the japas or penance or meditation, meditating upon which, meditating on certain gods or goddess, it gives a soothing effect. When we perform japas or when we perform yajnas or when we perform homas, when we pronounce and enunciate specific word, specific alphabet of A, E, A, E, I, O, U, A, I, Ma, Pa, Da, Tha, Ni, Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Sa, Re, Ga, Ma. Here what happens is I am pronouncing and enunciating so that, whatever God or whatever Rishi, Saptarishi, represented by Saptarishi, he or she gets appeased there. And thus, that energy is transferred back to this humanoid or human. So, now Natya, and this is why I say Natya Shastra or 108 Karnas is the easiest way to get to that level. And if you see during the marriage rituals, after all the rituals are over, where the priest with the mantras chanting, they chant mantras, right? Here you are again representing Prakriti and Purusha or Shiva and Shakti. That spiritual communion aspect is happening there. This this priest or the one who is pronouncing and enunciating mantras creates that invokes Prakriti and Purusha in male and female or masculine and feminine gender. And after this, once those rituals are over, whatever rituals are over, that mating time, that is where actually this masculine and feminine, male and female spiritual communion happens. And that's when the both energies gets transferred. This is what happens out of what you call in the ritualistic performance, ritualistic way. Okay, getting back to Natya Shastra or 108 Karnas, the individual who performs or the one who is renditioning the song vocally, the rhythmic lyrics, what happens is you are invoking Prakriti and Purusha, Shiva and Shakti, directly or indirectly. That comes to your body. And thus, that recital happens. And that's when, as I said, that spiritual communion of Prakriti and Purusha, this one needs to understand. This is the beauty of Natya Shastra and 108 Karnas. They need not really do practices or do those penance things. It happens directly or indirectly. And the energies also come more directly and more easy. Though the last ritual of male and female's spiritual communion holds the key. where the connection of male and female happens during the period of that time, that mating time, which one needs to understand. That is what is the practical importance of that mating time, so called that first night aspect. It's not that that has been put just for the sake of doing it. It has a practical significance and it has a spiritual connection to that. Because here male and female are representing that Prakriti and Purusha. Masculine and feminine form is representing that. Likewise, when it comes to Natya Shastra or 108 Karanas, this dancer, whether it is male or female, represents both Prakriti and Purusha. Or this male or female is a, Ardhanari Swarupa and carries lot of energy deep within, ladies and gentlemen. This is what one needs to understand. However, Natya Shastra, Natya Brahma or Natya Sutra Dhara created an alternative source called dance or Natya or music and Samaveda for humanoid to get connected to the Daivaganas. Before getting that conjugation aspect or that spiritual interconnection happening between male and female during the period, like maybe between 0 and 25 years or 30 years or whatever time, when these individuals are single. If they learn this Natya Shastra and understand this Natya Shastra or 108 Karanas, they get those energy levels and the genetics or whatever it is, hormones, really, make some sense. Thus, the point or important thing is that karmic deeds cannot be wiped out, which one needs to understand. If one understands 108 Karanas, the very understanding of humanoid and the ailments of the human existence from the viewpoint of curability aspect can be understood, and in fact they are accurate solutions for the same. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. The 108 Karanas depicted in the form of dance postures with with certain angles at its accuracy has to be taken care of. And the Charis and Vedas understanding to the core is must-ish. Though today not everyone has that patience. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. This might sound harsh and hard, but truth is always truth. And run behind shortcuts, skipping all of this though. This is one reason why today I have seen many papers, white papers, being published, but none of them could really come to a proper conclusion or conclusive statement. Maybe you might find a solution from this. So this, if I really look at whole of this concept of Natya Shastra or 108 Karanas, it is much more easier to understand this human existence or that humanoids importance, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, again, why is it important? Because this humanoid or this human existence gets connected to those nakshatras as per astrology and yoga in blunt terms from the contextual and conceptual understanding. So the point is, when this connection happens, that's when the psyche, psychology, psychosis, psychiatry, and psychometry understanding from the viewpoint of spirituality starts happening. Though here one needs to really deep dive and delve into the subject from the objective point of view. And 108 Karanas are the aspects which introduce the individual to the subject of consciousness, which is very important point. How to control, how to maintain that balancing act of this consciousness levels at the highest levels, and a proper proper text to understand the astronomy and astrology subject by and large. Today we I find astrologers, or I find psychologists, or you name it, like mushrooms, but none of them really have deep dived, or whatever it is, they didn't really understand it. That's the sad part of it. So thus, Natya Shastra or 108 Karanas needs to be understood at any cost from this viewpoint. Think about it, ladies. Stay blessed and have a real blissful life. May the Guru's grace be with one and all. Sarvam Shri Lalitarpanamastu. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Have a nice day.